Hey guys, today I'm doing my November wrap up. I have had a progressively good reading month, so as usual I'm going to talk about the books from my least favourite to my most favourite. And what's really weird is that this is also the exact order that I read these books in this month. So I started with my least favourite, and by the end of the month I was reading 5-star books. There are 3 5-star books in this wrap up. So anyway, the first book that I read this month, which I ended up giving 3 stars, was I See You by Claire McIntosh. This one was an adult mystery thriller kind of novel. It's about a woman who catches the underground to work every morning, and she reads the paper, and one morning or one night when she's going home, she picks up the paper and it's got her picture in a classified ad, like the kind of ads where people advertise dating sites and things like that. So there's this mysterious ad with her face on it, and she has no idea what it is, so she really wants to find it out. And then the next day she sees the same ad but with a different woman's face, and she starts to link these pictures of women in the newspaper with crimes, and she's worried that she's going to be a target for some kind of crime because her picture was in one of them. So the book basically follows that premise, which is a really creepy concept, and what I liked about it was that it makes you feel like this could totally happen to you. It was really well done and creepy in that respect. It was really fast paced and suspenseful for the most part. I found the ending really disappointing. It was really over the top and got really ridiculous and wasn't believable. My next 3-star read was Beastly Bones by William Ritter. This is the second book in the Jacoby series. I read the first one a while ago and I think I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed that one. The premise of the Jacoby series is that there's a woman from England, I think, and she's gone to America, and she meets this guy who is kind of like a paranormal investigator. He's kind of like Sherlock Holmes. He has the ability to sense fantastical beings and things like that. So she ends up becoming his assistant and helping him investigate these crimes that kind of the local police department investigates them as well, but Jacoby often realizes that there's something mystical or whatever going on. So this book is kind of like a second adventure with Jacoby. I won't go into it too much in case you haven't read the first one, but I just found this book, in comparison to the first one, the plot was a little bit boring. I found it kind of dull, and I just think overall I would enjoy this series more if it was actually told from Jacoby's perspective rather than his assistant's perspective, just because I find him to be a really interesting character and we don't really get in his head or get to find out that much about him. He's just kind of this Sherlock type figure. I'd just like to know more about Jacoby, I think. The third book that I read this month was one that I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and that is The Oyster Thief. This one I have a review on my channel up of this if you want to know more about it. Basically it's about a mermaid. She is kind of growing up. She's getting to an age where she's going to get married, and she's starting her career. She's an apothecary, which is really cool. And there's also a human who works for a company that the mermaids hate because they're all about oil drilling and things like that under the ocean. And these 2 people, well, one's a mermaid, one's a human, they come together and have to go on a bit of a quest with one another. So my favorite thing about this book was the setting, or the world building. I found that really fantastic. This is for sure the most well developed mermaid book that I've read. I really enjoyed it. It's an adult fantasy novel, by the way. Really enjoyed this one. If you want to know more about it, you can definitely go check out my review, which I will link down below. I really enjoyed this book a lot. The last 3 books that I'm going to mention were all 5 stars, which was a fantastic end to my reading month. The first one is actually a poetry collection. It is Pocahontas by Tai Tibble. This is a poetry collection by a New Zealand author. There's a poem that I especially liked called Vampires versus Werewolves that is about the generation of us who grew up with Twilight and what that was like, and different insights you can gain from Twilight. I just thought it was really clever. There were just poems in this that really blew me away. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I find poetry really hard to engage with. It's just not been my thing. This, however, has been the poetry collection that I have found that I felt really moved by and really related to it, and I'm just really stoked that I found this because it inspires me to reach out and try more poetry. So I'm excited about that. I think what did it is the fact that it's by a New Zealand author, which makes it more relatable, and also she's around the same age as me, which again makes it more relatable. I also liked her style. She writes her poems in a lot of different ways. Mostly what I loved about it was that there were a number of poems that I really enjoyed that spoke to me for various reasons, whether I could laugh at them or whether I felt they were emotionally relatable or just really moving. There was one poem in particular that you start off reading it and I thought it was kind of like about something, and it ended up being about something else, and I think that's really, really clever. So just things like that. Really appreciated this poetry collection. I'll link it down below so you guys can get your hands on it if you want it. It's just really amazing, and I would highly recommend it if you're looking for something a little different, especially I feel if you're a New Zealander you might enjoy this one. My next 5-star read is one that I've been like very late to the bandwagon to read this. My brother bought this for me for my birthday earlier this year, and I've been so excited to read it, so I'm glad I finally picked it up and enjoyed it so much. It was, like I said, one of my 5-star reads, and this is Wonder. So this one is a middle grade contemporary novel. So this is about a boy called August who has a facial disfigurement, and he is going to middle school for the first time. He's been homeschooled his entire life due to like various health issues and things like that, and he knows that it's going to be hard because middle school is hard for everyone, especially when you have something about you that makes you different from everybody else. I thought I was gonna really love it, which I did because everyone raves about it, and the film as well. I haven't watched the film yet, but I'm going to. I'm excited about that. So yeah, I thought I was gonna really love it, but I thought it was gonna be a sad story, and I actually found it really heartwarming, and it just left me with this like warm fuzzy feeling and feeling good. Which yeah, I really didn't think it would be a feel-good book, so I was very happy about that. And I think that's why I had put it off for a little while, was because I thought it was going to be really sad, and it had its sad moments, but overall as a book it was actually quite heartwarming and I liked it a lot. My final book that I read this month, my final 5-star read, was one that I have been so excited about ever since it got announced, and I'm so stoked that I got my hands on it and got to read it this month, and that is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. This is a YA contemporary romance novel. It's set in New York during the summer, and there's these two guys that meet in the post office. One of them is called Arthur, and he's there kind of just for the summer on an internship. He's from Georgia, and the other guy, Ben, is a New York local, and he is doing summer school and dealing with a breakup and things like that. So they meet in the post office. They end up walking away without having exchanged details or numbers or anything like that. So the rest of the book, or like the next part of the book, is them trying to find each other again, which obviously in a big place like New York is kind of hard. It was the cutest thing, which is kind of exactly what I would expect from Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I keep wanting to call him Simon Silvera. But yeah, it was exactly kind of what I expected, and I loved every second of it. It was the cutest thing. I cried at some points, but I also laughed out loud, so I really, really enjoyed this book. It was definitely the best YA romance that I've read in a while, and I loved it. Loved every second of it. So that is it for my November wrap up. I want to let you guys know as well that I'm going to be posting regularly again. I think I'm going to do Tuesdays and Fridays New Zealand time, 9 AM. I don't know what time that is for you guys. I think for a lot of you, if you're in the US, that's probably like nighttime the night before, so maybe Monday night and Thursday night or something like that. Just depends on your time zone. If you want to keep up with what I'm reading throughout a month before I post a review or a wrap up or whatever, you can friend me on Goodreads, which is always linked down below if you haven't already. If you have, yay, because I really like seeing what you guys are reading as well, especially if it's like books that I've read before and stuff. It's really fun to see what other people are reading. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see you with another video in a couple of days. Bye.